I'm going to call the meeting to order because now we certainly have quorum. Good to see you all. Let's real quick do the minutes from the past meeting, and then I want to introduce our guest tonight.
Motion to approve minutes from November.
Second.
Thank you. All right, Anne,
Yes.
Christina,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rebecca.
Yes.
We don't have Stefan or Stephen. I'm a yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes approved. Cool. All right. Well, I wanted to thank you all for joining tonight. And we have a guest speaker or guest visitor tonight, Christine. And Christine, I'll ask you to introduce yourself and your address. Emailed the ESC about the topic of light pollution in town, and specifically wanted to see, is that a topic that we want to engage in and partner about. I sent you all yesterday a video that she had sent along of sort of a 101 on light pollution, and Christine will talk to us for a few minutes, and then we can ask questions or talk about what, if this is something of interest to us. So Christine, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tiana. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay, good. My address is 22 Woodland Road. And I moved here to Wakefield in 2012 and have been interested in light pollution for a long time. I taught about it and researched it as a faculty at Tufts, and got interested in the issue on the town perspective around 2014 when our street was, I think it was the first in the area to get the new LED lights. And at that, we were lucky in that respect, but the lights, there was a learning curve, and they did not come with shields. They were super bright, and they were in the bluer spectrum. So it really did change the neighborhood and the interior of a lot of our houses. So I reached out to Gas and Light, and they did create a little shield for the one near my house. But, I was concerned about the issue across town, and I did some research and looked at what other towns have for bylaws, on the local towns, and did a memo that I sent to Gas and Light and to town administrator, in terms of, Reading, Winchester, Stoneham, Middleton, and turns out they all had and have stronger light pollution and light trespass bylaws than Wakefield. Now, Wakefield still, they have a few things in the bylaws, and that was another. I summarized what Wakefield does have now, and it doesn't really apply much to residential lighting. It's more directed towards businesses, parking and loading areas, and signs and such. And there is something pretty good in the new bylaw on the community overlay district, but I believe that would only apply to that district. So if you had a chance to look at the 10-minute video done by James Lowenthal, who's the president of Dark Skies, Massachusetts, it really kind of summarizes all of the issues that make this an important topic in terms of human health and ecological health, the impacts on biodiversity. 60% of pollinators work the night shift. So, when they're out there trying to do their thing and they're underneath a lot of super bright light, it impedes their function. And for humans, circadian rhythms, sleep disorders, there's been strong associations across the world with increases in breast cancer from those, for people that live in the areas with much more nighttime light. So I think, and it's increasing about 10% a year. And, for those of us who were trying to chase down that aurora borealis a few times, it's kind of tough to see when there's so much light around town. So I was hoping that, there'd be a few others from the ESC that might be interested, maybe in working on a subcommittee, looking at ways that we could chip away at this at the town level. I'd reached out to Tiana with a grant opportunity from Fish and Game, Massachusetts Fish and Game, and there was some constraints of that grant, one being that it was due December 26th, and they wouldn't tell you if you got the award until like 1st of February, and it had to all be wrapped up by June. So Jennifer Kelly was gracious enough to look at it and talk to Gas and Light, because I thought it could be a way to start to form a collaboration across maybe Gas and Light and the building department and the different town departments that have some role in this, in the decisions being made on light, and also some citizens, but it's just not the right, mechanism to start that. But even without the grant, I thought if we could, find some other folks that see it as an important issue and would want to put our heads together and see whether it's through improving the bylaws and the building codes and doing some education, if we can make some strides on this.
Thank you, Christine. Appreciate it. Folks, questions, comments, thoughts?
Well, I'm going to ask a boring question. You've probably been asked already before. Is there a hook of any like energy or dollar savings for doing some of the light pollution reduction? Like is it an equal swap out for like street lights that are, commercially available?
Well, yes, this at the state level, there's a bill that's just made it out of the subcommittee, and if they're asked, it's called the an act to improve outdoor lighting, conserve energy, and increase dark sky visibility. And I can forward the links through Tiana, but that would actually provide cities and towns with they're calling them tariffs is a negative word. Tariffs it's a different meaning for tariffs. It would be costs, it would be savings to the cities and towns that embark on these best practices, which includes shielding the lights, using the not the blue lights, but anything below the 2700 Kelvin, the more reddish yellowish lights, and taking a few other steps that are sort of best practices. And so that's making its way through the state. Massachusetts actually is the only New England state that doesn't have its own outdoor lighting legislation. So people are working hard on that, and there could be cost savings for towns to who embark on
Right,
that.
right. The reason I bring it up, I know there was a lot of incentives from, I think the utilities for a long time for swapping out street lights from incandescent to LED. So a lot of the public works departments, I believe, jumped on board because of the cost savings.
Right, right. And Jennifer found out, I was told by one of the DP gas and light staff working on my street that in the next year they're going to be replacing the LEDs that they put in about 10 years ago. So that would be a great time to get some shields now that are more common. And actually when you're using lower wattages, which you only need lower wattages for the LED lights. If you put a 100-watt LED into your, lamp at home, it just be way too bright. Same thing for street lights. So it's less wattage, of course, less energy, and so those are things that save
Yeah.
money.
Well, nothing sells itself better than monetary or energy savings.
I didn't know that the utility was the one dealing with streetlights in town. I would have thought it was DPW.
No,
No, I'm talking about some other, oh, sorry. I was just taking on some other examples I've heard of from other municipalities, Melissa, not specifically Wakefield.
Yeah, no, I was just saying in general,
Okay.
not to you.
yeah, I guess
Right.
the town is from Jennifer Calais, the town is the one who makes many of the decisions on municipal lighting, but the gas and light is like the contractor that implements those. So, oh, there's Jennifer. She can say it in her own words. Um,
Right, so
but
they're like the installation contractor, and the town has the ultimate decision about design and placement and that kind of thing. So yes, they partner together, but ultimately the town is the decision maker.
Okay. And I think, Christine, when you brought this up, there's sort of three, I guess constituencies maybe that or communities of light bulbs that we care about, perhaps. There's the streetlights that are town and gas and light, managed. And then there's individual homeowners' lights. I've got a neighbor who has a very bright light that is on the driveway all the time, and it's very bright, and it's not doing anyone any good. And then there are business lights in some of the businesses. I think you had pointed out to me some of the businesses across Crystal Lake on the Main Street side, where the bright lights from those businesses are shining across the lake. So there are sort of three different audiences, perhaps, of folks who could be persuaded to use better lighting practices. So some part of the question might be, is there a place that we would like to start, or most accessible community of light bulbs that we could go after in making a change here?
I think she's looking more towards policy than changing light bulbs.
Sure, but it prior to policy, is there education, or could businesses be told, like, hey, you really don't need these lights on this bright when no one's, like, is there more that could be done in the meantime?
well, I think in terms of commercial establishments, there is a bylaw that says that all sources shall be shielded so as to avoid causing glare from, I'm reading, motorists, pedestrians, or neighboring premises. And I think that encouraging enforcement of that, letting the building department know who would be the one enforcing that this is important. It's not just, sort of something that can be interpreted as, well, they don't look bad to me, sort of thing. If it's a glare, and if it's on neighboring premises, that's the language of the bylaw. So that would be one area. And then other surrounding communities, almost all of them, have something specific for residential lighting. You cannot have residential lighting that goes into your neighbor's yard. It's not really, it just can't go past the fence line. And if it causes glare, then that's enough to, have them change it out, put shields, direct it differently. So I think it's not like a far out request to make, and it's just that I think there's some gaps, and we could do it through telling people that, hey, the other communities require this, we don't. Or we could try to get our own community to tighten up really what the bylaw is as an incentive for people to do it, so it's not annoying all their neighbors.
I feel like people are gonna be not happy about the town telling them what kind of lights they can have or not.
Does Wakefield have no regulation then, Christine, on the residential use of light, or?
It doesn't, yeah, this would be a good thing. There's three bylaws that address lighting. One, and two of them are really directed towards commercial establishments. And then the other one is for this new community overlay district. And so that's residential as well as, I don't know how many new commercial establishments there will be in these, but I think there'll be some like in the first floors and so on. And that does say straight out, exterior lighting shall be designed and installed so as to be shielded or downcast to avoid light trespass onto adjacent properties and streets. So that, that was put in the bylaw for these community overlay districts. I don't, I guess the question is whether, that could just be extended to the rest of Wakefield as well. And, for the reasons of biodiversity, for the reasons of health, for the reasons of being a good neighbor. There's more and more lighting out there that people just buy lights now and slap them on the sides of their house. It's not even a switch on inside, the motion lights. So a contractor comes, puts them kind of high up, can't reach them. You have to get a ladder to alter them. I think that in and of itself is something that just kind of, creates all this excess light that nobody is really controlling. It's just kind of, so that would be another thing to consider, whether that's something that should be allowed, lights without switches kind of thing.
And then just for understanding, do you know who enforces those residential rules in other communities? Like, I'm imagining if I have a neighbor whose light is, offensive to me or, clearly breaking or against the regulations, do you know who would enforce that? Or who someone would reach out to?
Yeah, I think we'll say, I do have a summary of the different and links to the different towns, but I think it just depends on how the town's set up, like in Linfield, North Reading, Winchester. I'm not sure. It's typically either, the building department, someone at DPW. North Reading, it's an environmental performance regulation that addresses outdoor light. So I don't know if it's someone in the health department that would be the one to enforce. I don't know how towns divide that up, the enforcement of the bylaws. I think even our own bylaws have different departments that are in charge. But for the signs and parking and loading requirements for commercial establishments, I guess they have to submit a lighting plan. And then there's someone at the building department that's an inspector. But I don't know how, engaged they are really in the topic so much of light pollution. So it's more, I guess my request for Tiana was, do people feel like this is an area of interest that you'd like to, spend some time on? Maybe it's not everybody or the whole committee. But that was my initial sort of ask.
So one thing that we're working on is like a kind of pollinator project in Wakefield. And we're going to be having someone speaking about that in the spring, Ahmed. It seems like that is one way to dovetail and get publicity in terms of that step that Tiana was talking about with educating the general public. There would probably be more support for bylaws, changes to bylaws if people understood, why it's important and what changes might look like.
Yes.
Yeah, Christine has one of our signs, one of our pollinator gardens.
Oh, great.
I'm interested, and I'm interested in kind of all aspects, but certainly can help with the street lighting aspect, being that I'm connected with WMGLD. So,
Okay. I know where to find you around the corner.
Well, a little bit later in the meeting, we're going to talk more about our various goals and priorities for 2026. So maybe that would be a good time, like when folks put other ideas on the table of what we're excited to work on. This can be certainly among the potential areas. And how about Christine? I'll send you the whole committee the summary page that you shared with me, and I'll get back to you on who else might want to collaborate on that. And we're also missing we're missing 3 members tonight, so we'll loop them in also and see if who might want to participate in this.
Okay, and it would be great if other people wanted to help out, but another option is, I know there's some other folks in town that care about light pollution. If we then bring our proposals to you and you look at those and decide if that's something you want to endorse or, have some other role in once they're put together. So that's another way to
Yeah,
continue to move
absolutely.
this forward, because I plan to continue to work on it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you end up doing independently working on a bylaw, you'd be very welcome to bring it to us for us to read, weigh in on. In the past when there have been bylaws under consideration from various other places, we can, as a committee, look at it and vote whether it's something that we want to make some statement about one way or another. So even if you don't have involvement from us in the drafting of it, we could certainly help communicate about it or share about it if the committee agrees with it.
Right, that sounds great.
Right, wonderful. Well, thank you for the education and for all the resources, and I'll make sure that the summary gets out to the committee as well. Yeah, and thank you for
Great.
joining us and for caring about this topic.
Okay, thank you, Tian. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Mhm.
Right. Next on our list, we'll do updates on some of our recurring topics. So first is compost and food rescue. As far as I know, that continues to be going well. I haven't heard otherwise. But we have from last time we had talked about the idea of using some of the donated funds that we got from the Green Team Junk folks toward a new fridge for the Greenwood and a cooler cart for the Dole Bear. And we had asked for more information. So I have some more information on that. The Greenwood PTO, so Cheyenne got a fridge, and the Greenwood PTO is willing to go halvesies on it. So it was a $250 fridge, which has now been delivered. I believe has been delivered and is at the Greenwood holding the food now. So PTO is covering half of that. So I think the ask from us would be to cover the other 125 for the Greenwood fridge. And we can take that, I guess, separately from the cooler cart.
We need to vote on paying for that.
We would, yes, I would need to make a motion to pay for that out of our donated funds.
Motion to pay for the bridge for Greenwood out of the donated funds.
Sorry, can I ask you to have that motion say $125 so that it's not, this is clear? That's
I motion to pay $125 for the fridge at Greenwood.
I can second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Questions about the fridge?
Tiana, did we vote on this last time?
No, we decided not to vote on it last time
Oh, okay.
because we didn't have an amount. And we didn't
Okay.
know whether the PTO was gonna wanna split it with us, so.
Okay.
We
Okay.
decided to not vote on it last time. And just to be very clear, this is not from our town budget, this is from the donation that we got last year from the Jump Green team people. All right, so if there's no other,
Which was, it was.
it was a total of 500 and we've spent 0 of it so far. Yeah. And the reason that we would use that money instead of our town money is that we get to use that money for things outside of the the stuff the town budget is acceptable to pay for. So this
The
falls under
town
that category.
budget, we can no longer use town budget for food rescue.
We can't use the town budget for things that will become part of the property.
Okay.
There was question about if this fridge was going to be living at the Greenwood, that shouldn't be something the town budget pays for. But it could be something that our donation budget pays for. We also can't use our town budget for a variety of other things.
So just to be clear, the town budget can't be used for anything for the schools?
We have not received a fully explicit list of what can and cannot be purchased with our town budget. We're figuring it out sort of on a trial and error basis when we try to spend money on things. But I've been promised a detailed list someday.
All right.
Any further discussion on this one? All right, then we can vote. Anne,
Yes, I'll vote yes.
Christina,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Tiana, yes. Okay, so we agreed to spend that money for the fridge. Sorry,
Did you get Stephen?
what?
Did you get Stephen?
Oh, Stephen.
That-
So sorry.
That's okay. I'd be a yes anyway. I seconded.
Great. Sorry, I had Stefan crossed out because he's not here and I just jumped right past Stephen. You two having similar names is because I do it in alphabetical order. That tripped me right up. Thank you. Thank you for that catch. And so then can we separately take the topic of the cooler cart, which was $95.61
Has that been purchased?
for the Dole Bear. Yes, it has. We are under no obligation to pay for it.
Yeah, I just feel like if we're gonna get another new cooler for the Dole Bear, this will be the second one. Then we should get a new cooler for Walton too. Because they only have a little wheelie one, like
Mhm.
really old. So I feel like it would just be fair. Which means we would pay for two coolers.
I was gonna say, we
Yeah.
would certainly pay for two coolers if we so decided.
And do we have a price on the coolers?
The cooler that was purchased for the Dole Bear was $95.61. Perhaps a second cooler would be roughly the same price, although I suppose I could not guarantee that.
I don't see a reason to say no.
Well, no one's made a motion yet, so. We shouldn't wait for a motion.
So the motion to pay for one cooler or two coolers?
That is up to y'all.
I move to pay for one $95 cooler for Dole Bear and one $95 cooler for Walton. I believe I got that correct.
I'll second.
Stephen, thank you. All right. Anne, or well, discussion. Any discussion on that motion?
I'll submit I don't see a reason to say no now as part of discussion.
Thank you.
I would say these are ongoing programs that we've, been running and supporting, and I would support, purchasing these two as part of it.
I just want to make sure that the cooler does not get stolen again at Dilbear. I don't know what we can do to prevent that, but
Yeah, and that's a really good point, and I wonder whether, like, did it go missing over the summer?
I think so.
So I don't know if there's some way at the end of the school year, we do a bit more closeout of the program and like store it somewhere, secure it somewhere, store it somewhere. Just to make sure that it doesn't run off.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's very reasonable. Other discussion? Okay. Anne,
Yes.
Christina,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. All right, so that is two $95 coolers, one for Dole Bear, one for Walton, again, from our donated funds. Thank you very much for tackling the both of those.
So we just follow up with Cheyenne on getting
Cheyenne on getting the second one for Walton. Yep, awesome. Can do. Next, on events and education. So we have, Rebecca is here for talking about this. Rebecca, do you want to tell us about our upcoming event?
Yes, so we have a time and day for Amy Meltzer, who we talked about at the last meeting, who's from the Mass Pollinator Network, to give a talk at Wakefield Public Library, which is February 25th at 6:30. It'll be for 90 minutes, and we've offered her $200, which she's accepted. So it's scheduled with the library. They're just waiting for us to follow up with whatever way we want to present this, and then they'll help publicize it.
Rebecca, did you say her name again?
Amy Meltzer.
So I think probably one of the next steps is to create some graphic, poster, or other materials that we can use for publicizing. So we've got 2 months. We can get the posters up in the town kiosks, Facebook event, all that kind of stuff. Is anyone interested in doing some visual design?
I'm happy to help.
Oh, fantastic. I'm so glad to hear. Awesome. Well, how about this? Rebecca, will you send those details to Christina and anything else that sort of strikes you as relevant? I know Amy has a bunch of similar stuff from prior, like.
Yeah, she has sort of her
inspiration.
summary of publicity, so I can share that with you, Christina.
And any logos, I don't know if there's like a Mass Pollinator Network, some sort of visual that can be helpful as well.
Okay.
And then Rebecca, I can send you the sort of what we usually do to publicize an event list, like where to post it. And I can make a Facebook event, share it on our social.
Okay.
And the library, when we host a thing at the library, they do good promo too. So that's always helpful. Go out in their newsletter and stuff like that.
Great. Does there need to be a motion for her payment?
No,
Or,
we did that last meeting.
oh, we did. Okay, great.
Yes, yep, that's all set. We did that last meeting prior to you offering it.
I
So
see.
that she accepted our offer for that is great. Then we don't need to do any further motions.
All closed.
And
Yeah.
that's coming from our budget.
That's coming from our town budget. That was an enthusiastically endorsed spent use of our town budget. So
Great.
signs, speakers. So we're starting the list of things that we can spend our money on. Cool. Awesome. Well, I'm excited for that. And so that'll be end of Feb, which is like when people are real frozen and starting to thaw and think about what they're going to do for their gardens. This, I think, is like good runway to like, it's far enough in advance that they haven't purchased their plants and seeds yet. So we can get them thinking and designing and heading towards good pollinator gardens for the spring. Cool. Well, thank you, Rebecca, for coordinating that and getting that set up. We have another event on the horizon, which is, we've been invited again, so I guess we must be doing it well, to come to the STEAM night that's for the kindergarten through fourth graders held at the Galvin each spring. So we've been invited to table at that again. It's on March 4th from 5:30 to 7:30. Don't know what day of the week that is. But I wanted to see whether that was something that folks are excited to table at again.
Did we have a lot of engagement last year?
Yeah, who was there last year? Rebecca, you were there with.
I was there too.
Oh, I was. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
We talked about composting and what's compostable and what's not compostable, and had the kids give us some answers, and they were pretty engaged.
Yeah, and we had the light up thingy dingy, right?
Yeah, that got a lot of interest. Yeah, popular.
What did you say the time was for that again?
5:30 to either 7 or 7:30.
And was it K through 5? Is that what you said?
K through 4. Yeah, it's for the elementary school,
Got it. Okay.
but at the middle school. I'm only saying yes to us going if there's at least one other person who wants to table at it. So I don't need a strong commitment right now because March 4th is a mighty long time from now, but I'm looking for someone else who is interested to be there.
I'll come if I'm free.
Okay, fantastic. All right, sounds good. Well, we'll pencil it in, and I'll check with the folks who aren't here also, just in case they're excited about it. And we can make plans a little closer to that event. And then the last thing in the education and events realm is our re-education campaign about the plastics bylaws. Melissa, do you want to share about what you've done and how it's going?
I just came up with some posts for Facebook on this basically one on the styrofoam bylaw, and then 2 on the plastics bylaw. So 1 on the plastic bags and 1 on the cutlery and straws upon request. Just to basically like, did you know that the town has these bylaws type of thing, and then a link to the form to report any non-compliance. There was some mixed feedback from residents. Some were supportive, some were not supportive, that we were encouraging ratting on restaurants for non-compliance, but I don't know. I think it was worth getting it out there and seeing, if people knew about it or not. And, those that want to participate hopefully will and help us, and those that don't, then it's fine.
And is there more? happening from the town or the chamber about it?
Yeah, so I know that Erin Kokinda she has a newsletter to businesses that she put that reminder about the bylaws in there. And I think she was also going to connect with the Chamber of Commerce about them putting in their communications. Beyond that, I don't know. And I also don't know. I asked Erin if we were gonna start finding non-compliance, and I didn't get an answer.
More action to do or at this
I
point?
mean, I don't know if like what else we can do, because I don't know, I feel like it's more the town's responsibility to educate the businesses and it's more our responsibility to educate the residents, so besides social media, like we could put up stuff around town. Now it's probably not a great time around the holidays. But
We could put it in the next time we send out an email to our email list. We
Yeah.
can certainly mention it. Stephen.
I'm just curious about this from a like an education standpoint. I know we have the bylaw, and I know that we can reach out to businesses, but a lot of this I think comes down to I don't like having plastic silverware in my takeout container. Like I have forks at home. I feel wasteful every time they put it in my bag. I think a lot of people would, I think that resonates with people. I'm wondering if sort of an information piece about like who wants to take something home that you're not gonna, you're not gonna use it. Um, so why bother? I mean, it's funny because the thing I use most is probably the bamboo um chopsticks that I get from takeout, and those I could put in compost. So it's just kind of funny how it works. But I'm wondering if it isn't worth sort of having an education campaign for the general public that not only should businesses not be giving you this, but you don't need it. So the more customers that walked into a business and said, I don't need this. I don't need this. And, sort of get it from both ends to eventually maybe the businesses will just stop. They'll see it as a cost savings and they'll just stop. And yeah, I'll wait until they ask me for it. Just a thought. I don't think it always has to be sort of business facing. I think the public needs to own some of this as you don't need it. You don't need that extra napkin. You don't need the straw. You know, you don't need the fork. So just a thought.
yeah, I mean, ideally it would be the businesses that would be, abiding by the bylaw and not giving it out without being asked to give it to them. And automatically putting it in like takeout bags, and that would, not put as much responsibility on residents to say no, because people forget they're not gonna call, make an order, and then if they put in like the note in an order, don't give me cutlery, like maybe somebody doesn't see it, like it happens, like it's hard for the residents to prevent that type of thing. So ideally it would be really the businesses that should be not giving it out, according to the bylaw.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Like I don't want to take all of the ownership off of them. I just also think that there's a customer component to it. So and I think, it just you're kind of leaving some room there for sort of messaging, I think.
Right, it's not just about there is this bylaw, but also like, hey, you don't need that fork, if you're just taking that home, you don't need the fork. Check the bag and hand it back if you, or you remind the restaurant if you get a fork, if you have a relationship with the restaurant, right? I guess part of that is like, if you're a regular and you've got a relationship and you're there all the time, do you feel comfortable saying like, I really don't need these forks?
Justin, I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I'm thinking like when I do takeout and I go to pick up my delivery, like my bag is sitting there, like would it be worth the ESC like creating some sort of, even if it's like a little sign that we could hand out to businesses that they could have there, and it could be like just right there saying something like, if you don't need cutlery, let us know, or something, so that like in the moment I agree with what Steven says, like that the resident has that autonomy to say, you know what, I actually don't need that. Just something in the moment a little bit so that it's half on businesses, but kind of half on the person who's picking it up.
Maybe it could be a two-sided sign where one side says, ask if they need cutlery, and then the other side would say, ask if you need cutlery.
Just something, because I agree. I think it is in the moment. When it's in the bag, it's there and it's too far gone at that point. So maybe something.
I have noticed too that some takeout businesses on their online ordering, you can check off no utensils. So that's another really good messaging thing that I always try to get in the habit of checking the no utensils box.
Yeah, I feel like that doesn't always work, but it's, yeah, good to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your idea, Christina, is a good one to like just reinforce the message at the point of contact, I guess, and also gives businesses a tool and to, like in a way, because I think it's helpful to give them a way to do this in a positive way instead of like just a stick. But they feel, oh, we're promoting, there are some businesses and populations where we're like, oh, we're working on this, be our partner, remind us this is a positive effort that we're all making.
And it's probably a lot better received than a non-compliance form that gets submitted. I think they're going to maybe be a little more open to doing this.
Yeah, even if it was just a pilot with a few places that were like, oh, we want to be part of this effort.
Well, would someone like to put a draft of something together and maybe go to the next chamber meeting to share it with some businesses, or just bring it to a few businesses you think might like it and give it a try as a pilot?
I'm happy to draft something and then maybe share it with this group and get other people's opinions.
Thank you. That's awesome. And we should probably loop Erin into it also, just as an FYI. Awesome. Good. And then the remaining topic on our usual updates, rodenticide. Rebecca, any updates on the rodenticide thread?
No updates other than I'm blanking on her name at the moment, but the person who came to the meeting, Catherine, actually, I think. We were hoping to attend the meeting yesterday, but of the Department of Public Health, but I wasn't able to make it. So we have plans to attend their January meeting. That's in almost a month from now, and then we'll have an update after that.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. And I actually have to hop off now to go pick my son up. So
Thank you for joining us, Rebecca. Appreciate it. All right. We can do some updates from our liaisons. Stephen, school committee?
That was weird. Sorry, my mic was not unmuting for me. I can't think of anything specific, but I would like to talk to the facilities group about the dark skies component and see what we could do there. We have a fairly large footprint in town. I wonder if we're doing everything we can in that space. I have sort of reached out
Middle
around.
school lights are very bright.
I go back to there was a student that wrote as students as part of like civics projects write to sort of municipal folks in town, and I remember there was a kid that wrote a letter about sort of turning off the field lights at a certain time because to them it seemed like they were on far longer than sort of athletic events were going on. And I don't know if I feel like that was happening for a time. I don't know if we've taken a turn back to, I don't know, but I think it's good to pose the question. So I think I'll take it on myself to sort of reach out to Tim and folks about what we are doing in that space. Especially we live up on the hill like that overlooks Galvin, so I'm intimately aware when those lights are on.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for taking that back to them.
Yeah.
TV, the TV will turn off unless you press a button. Find a button. What button to press though? Oh boy, we had to do this last time too, right? All right, don't panic. All right, anything else on school stuff?
I don't think so, but thank you.
Ellie, Youth Council. Ellie, welcome back. We're very happy to have you back as our Youth Council liaison.
I'm so happy to be back. I'm really excited for another year with you guys. Last year was so fun. Yeah, Youth Council, we don't have anything super like environmentally sustainability based at the moment. I don't think we have snow angels going on, which, if you know any youth who are interested in helping out with that, definitely send them our way. That's just our program to match youth with senior citizens who like can't shovel their own pathway out of their house. So then the youth go and they do it for them. And it's like a great way to like build community and stuff. So we have that going on. And then our big project for this year is a initiative to try and lower the voting age, the municipal voting age. I will be getting, I believe, a like presentation, like a report on that I could share with you guys, kind of thing. But I don't have that on me yet. But any like questions or ideas that you guys have about that, we would definitely love to hear because we really want to be trying to gain more perspective on what people think about it, what people's questions and concerns might be, so that we can try and effectively promote the initiative, since we are currently working with data mostly surrounding how youth feel about it. Yeah.
And so that would be for the municipal, would that cover voting for like town council, school committee, et cetera, positions, as well as being able to attend and vote at the open town meetings?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Do you think students or youth, what was the age you're trying to lower to? 16?
Yes. Yeah, we're trying to lower to 16. And we did like a survey last year of youth from like middle school 15, 16 and like older youth like 17, 18 as well. And it seemed like a lot of them were saying that they felt really a strong sense of civic duty, and that they would definitely want, like if they had the opportunity, they would want to be participating in local municipal elections and politics more than they were able to. So, I think there's definitely like a desire to do this by students. And so we're trying to look at how we can promote this and the adults and already voting members in our community will think, and how they might have their perspectives on it.
Has that been done in any other towns,
Yes, yes. I don't have names of the towns because I don't have the research like on hand with me at the moment. But I do know that there's a lot of other towns in Massachusetts who have already done this and have done this successfully, and it's been a positive impact on their communities. So that's where we got our inspiration, and that's why we were hoping to make this initiative happen.
That's great.
Mhm. Mhm. So if you guys have any other questions or ideas about, how we can promote it, or concerns or anything you're thinking about it, please reach out to me, let me know, because we'd love to hear your thoughts on it, if you have any. Thanks.
Thank you, Ellie. Appreciate it.
Have you thought about doing the carpooling thing again?
Yes, I had thought about doing the carpooling thing. I haven't been able to think about quite organizing that yet, but I do think that that could be a really cool project to try and do this year. So I am going to talk to the youth council about trying to get that going in a more productive way this year.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking since it's the winter, there's probably less kids like riding their bikes and scooting to school. Like there's probably more people driving. So it may be a good time to maybe do some sort of carpooling initiative in the winter.
You're totally right. Yeah, I will I'll bring that up to the youth council at the next meeting because I've been meaning to talk to them about trying to do trying to revamp that initiative because I think that was a really cool project that we couldn't quite get off the ground last year, but that could be really fun this year. Um, and I know they said like last year we would revisit it this year, so I will bring that up to them at the next meeting for sure. Thanks.
All right. How about DPW? Ian, do you have any updates for us?
Well, I have the cardboard container is in the parking lot at the town hall, so it'll be there till at least after New Year's. I'm trying to work on a more extended visit, but at least it's up there for the month, which I think will be great. Other years we haven't gotten it there until a couple weeks before Christmas, so it's kind of nice because hopefully we're getting a lot of Amazon boxes, and I did find out that it's already been emptied once, so people are using it even though it hasn't had much advertising. Jen's away this week, I believe. She's back on Monday, so I'll have her start advertising. We already made
And
it. Yeah.
is it okay for it to be explicitly advertised to the business community as well? Like we want businesses to put their cardboard in there too, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, it would be great if that can be mentioned or if like Erin could include that in her newsletter or something just so that. Because I feel like if businesses get the taste for, oh, great, it's really easy to bring my cardboard here to town hall, that might help spur having it be more present.
Sure. I can definitely talk to Jen and Darren about that. There I am. I'm back. Sorry. And then we had string lights. We've already the string lights started on last Monday. We've already done a run to the scrapyard. I think there were 6 or 8 bags at 65 pounds each. So really good participation. I looked today when I was leaving and it was pretty full. So all good signs that people are using it and well worth doing it.
Does that cost us or do we make money on that?
No, it's a break even. We don't make any money. We don't lose any money, but we really do make a little money because it's one out of the stream. Two, it's not weight we're putting in there. Three, it keeps Republic as our friend. We're not messing up their machine. So I'd say it's definitely a positive on all ends.
Right, but we don't have to, we're not paying money to have that stuff.
No, no, not they take it for free from us.
Right.
And I did send you a list of the RDP stuff. So I think we have to get a little more creative this year and to try to get points. I was a little disappointed in how many points we got this year, but they're making it more difficult every year. So um, we might try to branch out and do some different things. We have a little bit of a time. So I'm actually meeting with some staff next week to see if they can help with some of these initiatives.
Well, definitely come back to us if there are things that we can particularly help with as well.
Sure. You bet. And I think that's all from us.
And am I allowed to ask about solar?
Oh, I have great news on the solar. It started Monday night. So we actually have I'll share a link with everyone. Um we actually had great day on Tuesday with production. I think 17 trees were spared. So pretty good. So today was a little less because it was cloudy today, but we should start getting some good production once the sun comes back out shining. So yeah, that was very exciting. The project isn't over yet. We still have the roof to re warranty. We have we need to maybe put up some uh railings because the solar's pretty tight to some of the sides at the Galvin, so we need to do some of that work, finish up some stuff. We haven't made our final payments yet either, so we'll do that, but we are producing as of Monday.
Woohoo. That's great. Anything else
That's
on the DPW side?
That is all. Getting ready for snow on Sunday.
Really? All right, John, anything from the town council?
Yeah, a couple of interesting things at this past Monday's town council meeting. One was the intersection redesign for Oak Street, Greenwood, and Oak where it goes over to Greenwood. So that intersection that had been out for the last 2 months. They had marked it out with temporary paint and plastic flex poles to redesign the lanes. So that intersection design got approved. That was one of the actual recommendations that came in the town-wide bicycle and pedestrian plan. And it's also going to make space for, a pollinator garden. They're going to have that new little green space area there, and it'll be getting rid of some of that big empty empty space of asphalt that has been there for decades. Um, the council also had a pretty lengthy update from the director, Joe Conway, Bill Renault, and the town's water quality consultant. The town's undergoing a multi-year planning effort to figure out how Wakefield's water supply is going to meet this new US EPA PFAS regulation for 6 different, I guess, chemical compounds that are all lumped together in this category called PFAS. So there was a lot of technical parts to it. There's a regulatory part to it where it was supposed to kick in 2029. And I think the federal government extended it 2 years to 2031. But it's a pretty big deal. Basically, the town expressed an interest in shutting off the use of the water filtration plant at Crystal Lake and switching the town over to 100% MWRA water supply. So both of those options are gonna, have it hasn't been officially decided yet, but they're kind of leaning towards going with 100% MWRA water supply in the future. So drinking water is a pretty critical topic for everybody in town.
How much do we utilize the Crystal Lake water?
It's a small component. I heard it was like, 10-15%, somewhere around there. Anne may know the number better than I do. But it's not terribly big.
And we're not always pumping. Usually, like in August, there's some growth in there and from the heat, so we don't always pump the whole month of August. So yeah, probably 10 or 15% is probably correct.
If we aren't using it for drinking water, does that change how what we do with that, with the lake, with Crystal Lake? Like, would we treat it differently in some way if it wasn't a water supply?
So I believe that we would make it an emergency water supply, kind of like how Spot Pond is in Stoneham. So there's some use on the lake pond, but not, you can't swim or you can't, no motorboats. So that would be part of this process, deciding what if the MWA would have us be an emergency backup or if we would just, that would be it. I'm guessing it would be an emergency backup if I had a.
I think Anne's right about that because it's kind of in the MWRA's long-term interest to have backup water supplies. If there ever was, a severe drought condition, they could call on other sources. So yeah, I think that would be probably the long term designation for Crystal Lake.
How much town property is there immediately around it? Like, if it wasn't a water supply, would there be more walking paths or I don't know how much of the space around it is private property versus public. Like, could it be more of a town enjoyable asset if it weren't.
We'll go walking in the woods right along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have asked that question over the years, and I don't know the specific, measurements like how much border there is between the edge of the water supply and a butters. But yeah, that came up Monday night as well. The idea of like possibly having a better, well, maybe not better, but more expanded use of like recreation.
There is probably, having been there, I can actually probably say that there's not a lot of walking around the perimeter of the lake because you run into the train, swamp. But there is a very small sort of trail that I think used to get used and now gets used much less. And it's probably the size of like, let's say Maple Way. If you can use that for a measurement, sort of the field up that's part of like Wakefield Woods, and where there's a couple like softball fields, give or take. It's not huge. It's a small path.
Yep.
And there's no real park. There's not easy access unless you're Jen. But
Well, so we're talking about Crystal Lake, correct? Sorry, I had to cut out for a second. So my understanding was that, and there are notices everywhere, that land is protected by either the state or federally because it is a water source. So people are in there, but you actually are not allowed to be in there. You're not even allowed to be on the path. So yes, there's all kinds of activity in there, but my understanding is that you're not supposed to.
Well, but that's the nature of my question is like, if it was
Yeah.
no longer a water
Right.
supply, would those protections be eased in some way so that it could
Right.
be an allowable place for recreation? But yeah, I'm more.
Yeah, and I don't think any of the land around it is privately owned, at least not on the side that I'm on. It's a good question about the other side where residents more abut the lake itself, and I don't know the answer to that question.
It's certainly less recreation friendly than Cube, since
Yeah.
half of it is train track or a portion of it is train track.
Yeah. Well, certainly the train track side, you would not want people to be there because that would probably be extremely dangerous.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's all I got, Tiana. I'm gonna jump off. I'm late for Christmas tree decorating.
Oh, good. All right. Thank you. Thanks,
All right.
Jen.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great holiday.
You too. Jen, any updates from Gas and Light?
Yes, so from what I hear, the seasonal heat pump rate is rolling out, and I've heard that people have received outreach to encourage them to sign up. So that is good news. Last night, a little out of touch because I actually wasn't able to attend this, but there was a customer information session. I looked on the website, it's not up yet, the recording, but I can share it once it is up. So that information is starting to get out there. And if anyone has any questions about their own situations, you can reach out to me, or have people reach out to me, and I can help people connect where there are questions or interest in signing up. Concurrent with this, just to let everybody know, we've made a few changes to the energy efficiency offerings, offering enhanced incentives for combinations of heat pumps and weatherization, and for heat pumps where the individual is doing like a whole home installation and would be able to disconnect from fossil fuels altogether. So those have changed in alignment with the rate that we now offer.
Is that the only incentive that changed?
I believe so. So
There was some
subject to checked, there may be one other that changed. I know there was discussion about phasing out windows, window incentives. So I can check on that and get back to you.
Yeah, I was on the webinar and there's no more window incentive. They moved that like $500 to insulation. The other thing that they added was a heat pump dryer rebate.
Cool. All right. Keep the incentives rolling.
I think they have more incentives too for battery powered yard equipment.
Hmm. Great. That's good. We can do some pointing people to that. Jen, were you gonna say something else?
That's it.
Oh, all right, thank you. We were gonna talk about goals for next year. Maybe we can throw out a few ideas and then talk about it more next time because we're now running short on people and also it's getting a little late. Are there particular topic areas that folks are real excited about pursuing in 2026? Or also things that we've been doing that we want to phase out doing to make space for new things that we would like to do in 2026?
Well, I think we should pursue climate leaders. Hopefully we can get that roadmap finished soon and then the EV policy and that would be it. And then we would be eligible for $1 million in grants.
Sounds like something we could be doing in 2026. Yep. So that's the decarb roadmap, the fleet policy, and
Oh, we also
the
need
town
to,
commitment.
yeah, the town commitment. So, yeah, bringing that to maybe Springtown meeting. Hopefully we will have the decarbonization roadmap in hand to then say, we would like to commit to net zero by 2050. Here's our roadmap to get us there. Let's vote on it. And we can also be eligible for climate leaders. So yeah, those are the three things.
And only some of that is stuff that is like actionable for this group. Some of it is DPW effort that we can support, but
Yes. Yeah, I mean, based on the process that was outlined in town council last year, it seems like they wanted DPW to take the lead on these things. Obviously, we will help in any way we can. And we can, I mean, I think ESC should bring the town meeting
the town commitment.
to, yeah, I think that's something that we should do on our own.
Thoughts on that? Ideas? Other ideas, other topics you'd like to pursue in 26?
I'd love to kind of do something with the carpooling, not just at the high school level, just in general, like whether it's the walk or bike to school days. We have a rail trail now, just something. The traffic is pretty awful, and anything we can do to sort of encourage or incentivize people to either share or get there via bike or walk or whatnot. If we can have a hand in that, I think that would be great. And just to start thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the Safe Streets group, they do a lot of that outreach, trying to get people you know, out of the cars onto bikes and walking and stuff. So maybe that's something we could collaborate with them.
Yeah. I'd like to continue some of the pollinator stuff, at least into the planting season. Since we started to build some momentum and then it became winter, so I'd like to.
Do we have more signs?
I think we have one more sign, and I think Stephen has a sign that he would give up since it's in his backyard and not very visible. But yeah, we can certainly, I didn't mean necessarily more signs. I meant more like actually getting out there and planting stuff or helping folks find resources about it. I think the talk in February will be good for that, but other ways to get folks planting.
Maybe something we could work with the garden club on.
Yeah, we should promote the event. Like,
I feel like we should do more like collaborations.
I would love to do more collaboration. That was the idea with that May event last year, was to like start to get some of our friends to play with us.
Right.
So yeah, I'd love to do more of that. Other ideas? Oh, I'd like to advocate for that cardboard dumpster staying right where it is all year. In addition, like we can have one at the pit also, but I'd like to advocate for that. There to be a cardboard dumpster there year round.
Is that something we can get RDP money for? No. Well, I think we should continue this conversation next meeting when there's more people. Yep. But I think we got, a little list starting.
Agreed. So yeah, be noodling on those ideas and other ideas. I'll remind the crew. We can have more discussion on that next time. We'd also, for next meeting, particularly if we want to be looking at the fleet policy, we talked about inviting the fleet related town staff to join us briefly. So if that feels like a good thing to do next meeting, have them join us. Joe and Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew Shankauer.
Should that
So-
invite come from me or from you, Anne?
I'll just see if he can make the meeting. I'm sure he will. He's very cooperative.
Great. Okay. And next meeting, so can we do January 15th? Usually we're the second Thursday. The second Thursday would be the 8th, and that feels very soon. Like we won't quite be ready. Like the new year will have only just begun. How does the 15th feel for folks?
Sure. I don't know if you want to poll it.
I'll poll the group since we're now have not quite enough people to feel sure about that. Any other matters not anticipated? Any final words? Closing thoughts? Well, then I will just close by saying thank you all for a lot of great work in 2025 and have a wonderful holiday and happy new year.
You too.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
Second.
Anne?
Did you say Jen?
Oh, I said Anne.
Oh,
Yes.
Christina?
Yes.
Jen?
yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Stephen?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful night. Happy New Year.
Have a good holiday.